that late most of the time. We're now joined by Christian Robinson, Baylor Linebackers Coach, with us on 365 Sports, who's been in meetings, met with Coach Aranda, and much more. Christian, hey, thanks for being a part of the show with Craig and Paul, and I'm David Smoke. What's it been like for you with the transfer portal ending about the time you arrived? And then, of course, National Signing Day, even though just one name, and getting to know things. How hectic is it for you, or has it been for you?
You know, I appreciate you guys having me on, and sorry about running a little bit behind, but it's been exciting. I think that's what I would say. You get used to in college football that things move at 1,000 miles per hour, but that's what you ask the players to do, so we move at that rate. And getting to come in, and I know Coach Aranda and Coach Powledge has already put together a good group of guys that I'm excited to get to coach, and we just added Mike Smith from Liberty, and he's going to add to depth and obviously help us chase after the things we're trying to do. And but it's always 100 miles an hour, even as I'm talking to you right now, out of breath as usual. So.
Well, we're glad you made it. We understand why, because you had a little extra meeting with Dave Aranda after the one you were already in, and I guess you do have to say yes to the head coach. We're talking to Christian Robinson, Baylor Linebackers Coach, on 365 Sports.
Christian, you step into a position group that's been pretty good for a good stretch, and you've got some veterans. You're going to have to pepper in some of the young guys. What have you thought about the room so far? Have you gotten to know anybody yet?
You know, I have. We've actually done some team activities and gotten the guys together, and that's been some of the most enjoyable things about what we get to do is starting those relationships and explain to them how you create value for them as people and as players. And I think that's Coach Aranda told me coming in that's what he wanted from me, was to build relationships, to foster those. Being a former college football player myself, having played at the University of Georgia and been in the shoes that they're in, I think that's the part that I'm excited to bring on a daily basis, is that knowledge of what they're going to be asked to do every day and the rigors that come with being a college athlete.
Coach, can you just take us through the process and getting the phone call from Dave Aranda, or however it unfolded on your end, and just take us through, the journey that eventually led you to being in Waco now?
You know, when everything ended at Auburn, I really, this is what I've been telling the players as well, and I mean it wholeheartedly. I was looking at myself and saying, what am I looking for? And I was looking for somebody that I wanted to be like. And when I think of Coach Aranda, he's somebody that I met when I was coaching linebackers at the University of Florida, and I remember just watching his route, the steps that he had taken, and he was somebody that, as a linebackers coach, I don't think you could find a better mentor. And so to be able to come, get the call from him and say, hey, if you got a little bit of time, we were flying to see my family up in Nashville for Christmas, and it was just excited to just get on the phone with him. And 7 hours later, he offered me the job, and it was exciting. And he wanted me to focus on relationships with the players, and the football piece is something that he cares about, but he believes in that we can train the guys to do what we need them to do, and I want you to have a relationship with them. And that was the focal point of it, and why I really wanted to be here as well.
Can you tell that is all what you have right now at Baylor as far as what he says he wants? Can you see that inside the football facilities and also the offices?
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell. I got to meet some of the coaching staff and support staff when I went to the convention this year in Charlotte, and that was the stuff that they were focused on, and that's what I was searching for, and a place where it's the relationships on the field and off the field that help you be successful when it matters most, and the 12 opportunities you get on Saturday in the fall. And so that's what we're spending time doing right now. Like I said, I've been spending time with the guys and trying to get to know them, how they take their goals and dreams, because that's what's going to drive them, and helping them achieve their goals along with the team goals. That's what my job is and what I've been tasked with doing.
I'm curious about something, and I've always wanted to ask somebody this question who has played at one rival school and coached at another. Because, look, when you play at some place you're kind of focused on the guys in the other shirts. They're the enemy. They're the bad guys. Like, they're the guys we got to beat today. And especially with you, Georgia and Florida has one of the best rivalry games. You know, the cocktail party there in Jacksonville. It's a whole big thing. For you to be in that rivalry for 4 or 5 years as a player, and then for a couple years go into it as a coach, like, it is. I know when you get a job, you're focused on your team, your guys, what your goal is that day. But is it surreal to be looking across and seeing guys in red and going, well, that was me?
Yeah, it really is to a certain extent. I think my default mode is I get competitive. Knowing the locker room, knowing the people and what's important to them, and then being a part of the new team, you know, both sides. I did that. I was a GA at Ole Miss and in Mississippi State as well. And so to go through that and know what the other person is thinking and what they say, I think that is a driving force for me. And I think it's a heightened competitiveness for me. And in the meetings, I think the players could notice that it was important to me because I understand the rivalry and being on both sides.
You know, you discuss what the philosophy or the mission statement is for Coach Aranda and the staff and the players and relationships and whatever else. And I think, and we've talked to him about this before, sometimes people look at personalities and who somebody is outward, and they go, well, he doesn't seem to have that fire. That's misunderstood quite a bit, isn't it, Christian?
I'd agree so. That is not that's not a soft thing. That is a understanding what the driving force is in this world, is just the relationships, whether that's somebody that you're close with or somebody that gets you riled up. I think understanding the relationships and how you can make a group of people decide to play together the way that you ask them to do when it matters most, that is what coaching is taking the group that you have, that you've developed and spent your days with. And that's what I've told the guys that I've met with is, as long as we decide what we're going to do and hold each other to it, we can go accomplish all the things that we have set out in front of us. And that's the exciting part about being a part of a team and especially in college football, any given Saturday, you can put together the performance that you need to be successful.
I know football is football ultimately at the end of the day, but, I mean, you have been pretty much a career SEC guy from a player to all the various stops as an assistant coach. What's kind of your just working knowledge and thoughts when you hear Big 12 football?
I've played several times throughout my career teams from the Big 12, and one thing that I've noticed is just the style of play that is unique to this part of the country, but to this conference. And I think that's exciting because especially playing the teams that I played in the SEC, you were going to see some similar things, but it was the teams that were different, whether on offense or defense, that always present challenges. And so to bring the knowledge of the schemes that I've been a part of and help Coach Ballage and Coach Aranda as we get ready each week, I'm excited just because that's going to be a new challenge and something that excites me every week. You
played the game at a high level, obviously, at Georgia. Mike, you are a coach's son, and your father was a high school coach. How much of that was in your blood, and how much of advice did you get from him, and what did he tell you?
It's something every day I'm on the phone with my dad talking about the things that I'm dealing with because for many years I rode to school with him every day. Got to hear him deal with, head coaching issues, position issues, coordinator issues. And I really believe I'm in this position because of all those days that I sat in that car, listening to my dad deal with and tackle those things. And you talk about the position. My dad played linebacker for the Washington Redskins, was on a Super Bowl team. Did it at every level. And so when you talk about a mentor and then someone being your father as well, every day I'm getting taught on the things that I know are important, and not only dealing with football players, but dealing with people. And I know it's a blessing, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And every single day caring about making me my best and helping other people. So at Georgia, what happened with you as someone who was kind of quiet, who then somebody quoted in a story, one of the most outgoing people I've ever met when they described you? I think it was just growing up and something that I work with my players everywhere I've been, and I know that'll be something here, is getting the guys to take the next step. I think a lot of times, especially in the world that we live in, it's easy to handle your business, to focus on you. But what I tell the guys every day is we'll be judged on how we affect other people. We're the quarterbacks, the defense. And so getting guys that understand that there's certain traits that you have to play this position at a high level, and you got to demand that every day. And you have to make the calls. You got to get us in the right looks. You have to be the coach on the field. And I believe that that's what drove me to want to get into coaching, was understanding that I could help make the team better. When I was injured as an upperclassman, I was able to help those younger guys. And I've taken that same approach as a coach. It's my job to help prepare them for the challenges that they haven't seen yet, and build that confidence over time where they can achieve their goals and dreams on the football field.
You know why I know when you say relationships that it's not just something because Dave Aranda brought it up? The story I was looking at in 16, you even brought it up back then about what relationships mean to you. Life is about relationships. I've always have those that were built at Georgia, working here, et cetera. So it meant something to you even 6 or 7 years ago.
I see so many coaches that poured into me, and what a well-timed word or a moment with a coach can help you believe in yourself and push you farther than you think you can go. And I think that that's what coaching is. And I've had a chance to meet a lot of coaches here in the state of Texas that they believe the same thing, and they're a part of the community. They're ingrained in the community. And I seek to do that every day with the group that I'm responsible for. What's
it like to see your alma mater having the level of success that they are right now?
You know, I got asked this when I got here too, and I was definitely excited for the community. A lot of people that I care about, a lot of people that raised me in Athens, and it just shows that the consistency in performance. That's something that we talk about in our room here, and I know that they speak of there. Being able to do what other people are not willing to do with your time, with your attention to detail and your toughness. And those are all traits that I know that the past 2 years that team has had. And it's been a great example for me and to point to certain things and knowing the people in those rooms and what it takes to be a championship caliber team year in and year out.
You played for Mark Richt at Georgia, and he was when I was a student at FSU, he was the offensive coordinator for the first couple years. So I've always been a huge Mark Richt guy. What was he like as a coach? He seems to me to be, and I think that sometimes maybe he gets lost in the shuffle a little bit when people are talking about some of the better coaches of this era, because he was so consistent and so even keeled, and his teams always kind of were. You knew what they were going to be.
You know, he was one of the best people I've ever been around. And I think between my father and playing for Mark Richt, I didn't realize how spoiled I was to have men like that in my life. And Coach Richt was a father to many that didn't have one. And I think that is something that resonated with me is, you know, there's going to be lots of times that the guys, they won't remember a lot of the plays, but they'll remember how you made them feel and how you poured into them. And he did that every single day. And he was consistent. You know, we had really one bad year while we were there, but besides that, to compete for the East, and there were some good teams, some generational players that we had to battle every week in that conference. And to be as consistent, that means he took multiple groups and multiple staffs to be able to go play in those games, and it just shows that he was a huge driving force in that, and somebody that I'm forever thankful that he gave me an opportunity not only to play but start my coaching career with him.
You have been able to, at least as you mentioned, the Texas high school football. You come from a hotbed of talent, Georgia, and what you've done, Auburn, Florida, etc. What have you seen so far? And obviously you're hitting the ground running, but Texas is loaded, Florida is loaded, Georgia is loaded, three of the most lucrative, I guess you could say, in talent states in the country. Your thoughts so far?
I've been excited to be here because when I walked into a high school, and every single one I went to this January, the commitment by the community and the school to providing the best for their student athletes. And so you're getting guys that are developed, that understand strength program that understand how to implement a defense or an offense when you're going in. And I think that just shows you that anytime the culture in the state is committed to a style of play and preparation, that you're going to get a player that is more times than not ready to step in and tackle those challenges in the transition to college football. And a lot of these high school coaches are like college coaches. They are dealing with a lot of those same issues, and it's exciting because when you sit down with them, you're definitely talking to a peer. And I think that as somebody who watched a lot of coaches come sit down and talk to my dad when I was a ball boy, I'm enjoying sitting down with the coaches here and talking about the same issues that we're dealing with.
Did you ever get caught up in all the toilet paper at Toomer's Corner?
You know, I had a couple opportunities to go down there, and it was exciting. Definitely been a college football fan my whole life. My dad played at South Carolina. My uncles played at Clemson, and I went to Georgia, and I've been about everywhere else you could think of. And so to see the traditions, I'm excited about many of the ones that I'll get to be a part of here and know why and why it means so much to the people that you represent. And I'm a college football fan, and I'm excited about me and Kaylee getting connected with the people here in Waco and starting those here.
Last thing, Christian, when Dave Aranda offered you the job, I think you said 7 hours later, what was his reaction? How long did it take for you to say yes?
I said I need to talk to my family, but I told him, I said, Coach, this is where I want to be. I think when you talk to so many people around the profession about how they feel about a person and then and talk about the detail, how intentional he is with how he goes about his business with players and staff. I don't think there's many people like that in the profession, and it's unique and something I wanted to be a part of. And I got to a point in my career that if I'm not working for somebody that I want to grow to be like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. And I know I'm in the right place, and somebody that I saw for many years do the things I hope to do with my career. And I'm just honored to be a part of this program.
Hey, that's good job interview advice. Be eager, but be cool about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But you gotta step it back. You can't be too excited. You gotta talk it well with the wife. You can't just say yes. But yeah.
Yes, sir. So she's a football fan. Grew up. She was in a Tennessee household, so I got a lot of grief when I came home to ask her dad to marry her, but he's been supportive and he's been a fan of everywhere I've been, and so I'm thankful to have the people I have in my life.
Man,
so.
You do have different levels of blood of the SEC throughout your body. Christian, it's been great to talk to you and get to know you. We'll get to know you even more. Welcome, obviously, to Baylor University and covering. We'll cover you and see you, and hope you get a chance to take a deep breath here pretty soon. I doubt it.
You're always moving fast, but we move in on Valentine's Day, and so I can't wait to have a house here and call Waco home, and I'm ready to go to work.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. We appreciate you.
Thank
Christian
you.
Robinson, Baylor's inside linebackers coach with us. How ironic is this? He was at